Jaden Chavez Silver, that's my son. He was a leader in the football team, on the wrestling team. He was an amazing big brother. He was the best son that you could ever have. His personality would light up a room. I am Jaden Chavez Silver's mother, and we are all here to honor and remember his life.
Jaden Chavez Silver, I am his sister. He was my protector. He was my other half, and I will continue to keep his legacy going, whether that be with my children to a random stranger on the street. I'll continue to say his name.
Okay, so I got a random phone call from a Jennifer from the district attorney's office, and just asked if I was Nicole. I said yes, and she said, well, I'm making this phone call because I want you to know that the Vine system's down. So the Vine system is what victims use, so we have to enroll online, and so that's the system we use. It'll automatically send us a text whenever the offenders are moved from like one facility to the next, or say they're getting released, which I haven't had to deal with yet. And so as she's telling me this, I thought, why is she telling me this? She goes, well, the system's down right now, and so I'm making this notification. And I thought, okay, I don't know why she's calling. And then the next words out of her mouth was, Dominic Conyers is getting released, and his release date is going to be on October 20th. And I mean, it took my breath away. The first was he's getting released because I thought he had another 6 to 10 years there. And the second part was when she said his release date, that's Jaden's birthday. And I thought, you've got to be kidding. And so I asked her, I said, wait a second, hold on, like, just give me a second and let me write this down. What do you mean he's getting released? He has more time, because he had initially got sentenced to 18 years and some of it was suspended, but it's only been 6. And she goes, well, I don't really know. You're going to have to call Department of Corrections. We don't know. And here's a hotline number. And I thought, wow, like after everything I've done and been through and helping victims and helping the DA, that's all I get, that's it. And so I took down the phone number and I said, wait a second, how is he getting released? And so that's when she paused for a second, and you could tell she was looking at paperwork, and she said, he had a parole hearing, it looks like in July. And they made a decision to release him. And I said, a parole hearing? Like, no one told us. What do you mean? She's like, well, I don't know. I don't know, but here's the number. Kind of just like, call the Department of Corrections. And so that was the third, like, I mean, 3 things happened so quickly on that call, I just really didn't know what to say. And so I got off the phone, and obviously I called his dad and Kennedy. I put him on a conference call right away, and I just really didn't know what to say. And all of us were kind of confused because, there's not enough time. This hasn't been enough time. That's all I could keep saying. And then Jaden's birthday, like, how could this be possible? So something has to be wrong. And I don't know, did I miss anything of what I said?
I think it kind of just all initially took us from shock to just complete heartbreak and grieving, like, all over again, because you're just hearing something you're not expecting ever, really. And it's just bringing all of that grief and sadness back.
I was disgusted at that point. Like, how can you... Obviously, right, I have learned through the last 8 years that victims get forgotten. Our rights, we don't have any. We really don't. But the criminals, the offenders, have so many rights, it's disgusting to a point. Regardless of whether that's through the judicial system, all the way through even the appeals system, because I've already had to deal with that with one of the offenders. They don't think about the victims. They don't think about the lives that are taken. These senseless acts of violence that continue to happen, they keep forgetting that there's people left, and the butterfly effect that happens when these lives are taken, it's indescribable. It really is, through the community and to the loved ones that are left here. And so the fact that you don't even have the decency to look at dates, and you're releasing this person on his birthday. I mean, to me, I thought, oh my God, like, it's bad enough. We already have to celebrate his birthday at the cemetery. You know, we always do a birthday event there. And like, how am I going to handle this? I thought, how is Kennedy going to handle this? How are his friends going to handle trying to celebrate his life that was cut so short, knowing that this individual is getting let out? So this person that killed my son is going to be celebrating this day for the rest of his life, probably, on his birthday, on my son's birthday. And I think most importantly, I mean, if we get down to figuring out, is the math right? Whatever happened, why was he let out? All I'm asking is, please change this date or take these victims into consideration. Obviously, knowing me and other victims, we'll continue to fight, right, to change whatever laws we need to change or services. But at this point, if the decision can't be changed to let this person out, change the date. That's all I'm asking. And I don't care if it's early. Let him out a day early. I don't care. Let him out a week early. But don't do it on his birthday. That's all. I mean, how disgusting. And to add to that, I had to fight, I think, through this process, this last session. I don't know, I'm sure you guys are aware, they changed the law for juvenile sentenced to life during session, and I had been fighting that for 3 years, and I think we finally came to an agreement, which obviously I still didn't love, and it took anywhere from 10 to 20 years off of these sentences for first-degree homicide to anybody that was charged as a juvenile, which one of Jaden's offenders, Isaias Madrid, that's in there now, he was 3 months away from turning 18, so it actually took 10 years off of his sentence. But the thing that was heartbreaking to me that we're trying to change now, because these victims and families are now getting letters saying that these individuals are going to get paroled or getting parole hearings, they're going back to these release dates, back to the date of the offense. And what the Department of Corrections, what lawmakers need to know is the date of offense is the date that these lives were taken. The loved ones are lost. It's on their angelversaries. Do something about that too. Like, change it again by a day, by a week. I don't care. But please try to keep us as victims and our feelings into consideration. It's disgusting that they would go back to that one initial date releasing these individuals. Because it's bad enough that we have to live through the parole process of these people getting out early or not serving enough time to where we feel, it's enough justice. But to let them out on the date that our loved ones were killed, it's like a slap in the face. So I think that's the first thing I thought of when they gave me a date of release of Jaden's birthday. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And right now, the people of New Mexico, especially Bernalillo County, should be watching this. The district attorney who's fighting for justice and fighting to keep criminals behind bars should be watching this. It has been 8 years since Jaden was murdered senselessly. He had nothing to do with this. He didn't know the offenders at all. And these people have been behind bars for 6. The first offender, who was also a shooter and the driver, only served 1 year, is now released as a free adult with a clean record who is now reoffending in another state. Look at that. The second offender, whose whole purpose of why my son is dead, because he was beaten up and didn't have the guts to face whoever beat him up or whatever happened, and a month later decided to take his friends and shoot into a house full of people, he's getting out now. He's only been in there for 6 years. How is this okay, New Mexico? How is this okay, Albuquerque? And you're wondering why people keep reoffending and the violence gets worse and worse. This is why. We're not holding criminals accountable for their actions. Our laws are not holding criminals accountable. And what we're doing now, we are decreasing penalties when they should be increasing. We're doing the opposite. And when people look at our state, even in our neighboring states, it shows. It's disgusting. And I love our state. I love our culture. I love the people. I love our food. I love the weather. But at some point, people are saying, when is enough enough? And we need to move because I don't feel safe here anymore. And I think that's where we are. And so they need to look at that. That's a tough one. Because I am all for helping offenders change their life, because I believe that we should help them as much as we can so that they don't reoffend and go back to a life of crime. I hope that he's changed his life. I hope that he's changed his thought process. I think I would ask him to please look back at what you've done, the life that was taken, how much you've hurt us, his community, his teammates, his friends. And I hope that you keep that in your heart and your mind whenever an old friend comes back or tries to reach out, or you feel frustrated with trying to get through the system. Think of Jaden, please. And I will say, by all means, reach out to me. If you're having problems or second thoughts and you're thinking maybe this path is too hard because I don't have enough services or help trying to fix my life to make it positive, and I may go back to a life of crime that I know, call me. I will talk to you. I will help. I've tried to work with lawmakers so that this doesn't happen again. I want my grandkids raised here when it comes to that. I want my kids to stay in this state. I don't want us to fear for our lives. And so, like I said, whatever we can do, if it's mental health, substance abuse, programming, trying to get jobs for people that were recently released, I'm all for it, 100%. If I'm standing next to somebody in the store, I don't want to be scared for my life. I want to know that they've been rehabilitated. So please, if he was standing in front of me, I would ask him, did you learn your lesson? Have you changed your ways? Do you want something positive in your life? And if you're hitting a roadblock or getting frustrated and it seems easy to go back to that life of crime, I'm here. I know that sounds crazy, but reach out to me and I will try to get you in contact with other people or programs, because I don't want that. I don't want another family standing here in my shoes.
I would hope that he wakes up and he remembers what beautiful life he took every day and learns from that. Every day when you're hitting that roadblock, like she said, I want you to remember his face and remember you're getting out early and this is your second chance to make right by it.